Hello there and welcome to our Q&A for our webinar on Get Energized and Beat Fatigue. So wonderful to be with you today. So we've just been through our half-an-hour session on looking at the sources of fatigue, what lack of energy actually means, and some simple things with the Gupta Program MEND protocol that can help you get that energy back into the system. So we'll go through your questions now. I'm sure you've got lots of questions. You always do on our Facebook Lives. So I'm just going to bring this up on the system here and then have a look at what kind of questions. So if you can give us a shout out in terms of where you're tuning in from, always like to know where you are today. And we'll see what questions that you have. Okay, so in the comments section, if you can just let us know where you're tuning in from, and you can also ask your questions as well. Something I forgot to mention on our Facebook Live, always lovely to see your thumbs up, your likes, your little icons going across the page. Yes, I missed those. There we go. Thank you so much. Oh, people overdoing it now. No, keep them coming. I'm only joking. So great. So let's go to the comments, and then we can see. Rumby saying hello from Germany. Thank you for tuning in. So Stephanie's asking a question. Would this approach be helpful for histamine intolerance? Yeah. Well, we certainly have many of our clients who have certain intolerances, but also some certain oversensitivities. So they're overreacting to the environment around them. It could be pollution. It could be chemicals. It could be mold. It could be certain foods. And sometimes they have an over response, like an allergic response of histamine, but then have a resistance to anything that can support them through that. Now, I believe that when we actually engage with some of these tools that we've talked about, then a lot of these systems come back to balance. So that histamine intolerance, that either over response or under response or resistance begin to generate those challenges. And through regular meditation, through the MEND protocol or through the Gupta program, we find that people really start getting positive benefits. So I'd love for you to try the Gupta program and see where it takes you. Yeah. Margaret, hi there, Margaret. She's saying hello from East Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I owe my wonderful life to having used the Gupta program to help my body heal from CFS, fibromyalgia, and MCAS. Thank you so much, Ashok. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for your kind words. Miranda, hello from the Netherlands. Becca from North Dakota. Hello to you. I've used the Meaning of Life app. When should you start to see results of these changes? Well, it depends what results you're looking for. So with the Meaning of Life app, that's a general app about finding your life purpose, about learning to meditate and generally refining your system. So generally with regular meditation, if you've invested at least a few weeks or a couple of months in meditating, people often see results very quickly, sometimes take a little time, but as long as you have that commitment, over time, you will definitely notice the benefits. Good, so just bringing up some more of your questions and comments. Barbara saying hello from Sweden. Hello to you. Jerry Ann, hello to you from New York. Thank you for this most informative webinar. My question is, do you suggest keeping the night shift screen setting on 24/7 for those of us with fatigue issues? No, in fact, I'd suggest the opposite. In the mornings, we want to have that blue light spectrum, because it is the blue light spectrum that wakes up the system, that signals to the brain that it's time to wake up. So it's absolutely fine to have the blue light on your devices during the day. Judith from Holland, lovely to see you. seeing where we can find some more questions. And if Jess, if you could share the 15% discount code for the Gupta program, if you could just share that. Jess is our social media manager. So you can just share that on the comments section there, and then I can also read it out as well. Gina from Maryland, it's lovely to see you. I've had Hashimoto's hypothyroidism going on 10 years now. Lab work shows that I'm in the normal range with medicine, but I'm still suffering from chronic fatigue. Any experience for those with CFS related to autoimmune conditions? Yes, so we have had a lot of people who've had Hashimoto's syndrome who've used our program and successfully been able to get their energy back. Yeah. Now, often what happens is it's very difficult to know what's going on in the system, because hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism, they're imbalances in the system. The key question is, why is the system going into this imbalance? And what the Gupta program does is it refines the system to get it to its optimal healing state, so that it naturally rebalances the neurotransmitters, the hormonal systems. We often find they come back to balance. So if you're finding that you have Hashimoto's, I would love for you to give our Gupta program a go and notice how it can rebalance the system. In fact, I presented at Thyroid UK's annual conference, and it was so interesting listening to some of the comments that people had, that some of the ways that the condition started, the hypothyroidism, and how it perpetuated were very similar to people with chronic fatigue. So do people with chronic fatigue syndrome have hypothyroidism, or do people with hypothyroidism just happen to have chronic fatigue? It's very difficult to diagnose, because all of these conditions come under a banner of what I call neuroimmune conditions syndromes. It's when the brain and body go into an altered state and start causing symptoms which then become chronic and drain the system of energy. Yeah. Okay, so for the next 10 days, the discount code to receive 15% off the Gupta program is 15 live. So the numbers 1 and 5, 15 live for the standard package, and 15 live USB for the USB package. And the USB package is when you receive a small USB stick which has all of the content on there, so you don't need an internet connection to watch the program. Yeah. That's 15 live for the standard package and 15 live USB for the USB package. Tanya saying hello from California. What kind of exercise would you recommend for chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or MCS? So if you mean exercises in the sense of retraining the brain, that's obviously in the Gupta program. But if you mean physical exercise, I would actually recommend very paced, gentle walking in nature. And when you notice the symptoms getting worse or suddenly a lack of energy, then stop and meditate and rest. So pacing is so important. Many doctors think that somehow if we exercise, we're going to get rid of our chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia. And study after study has shown that the more vigorous the exercise is, the worse that people get. You can't exercise your way out of chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. So instead, very paced stretching or gentle exercise and pacing yourself. Becca's saying, why do you recommend meditation before a meal? You see, how do we feel when we've had a big lunch? We feel very sleepy and tired, and some of us take a nap. When we eat something, energy goes to the digestion system to digest that food. And actually, we're less aware and less alert. Meditation is the art of deep rest whilst we are fully aware. And it takes energy to create energy. So we're taking a chunk of energy that we've got, we're alert, we're awake, and we're magnifying it through the process of meditation. So if we're feeling drained and exhausted, and on top of that, we then have a meal, that meal means that our meditation is going to be more sleepy and drowsy. But if we're just feeling exhausted and we meditate, we re-energize our system. So meditation has always traditionally been done before a meal. Krista saying, I've been using the program, I assume the Gupta program, for a month now, and I'm looking forward to the webinar series starting in November. How do I, sorry, just there's something in the way here. How do I sign up for the webinar series? Right, so if you've already bought the program, in your members area, you just click on products, and you have been given a code, which means that you get a webinar series for free. You enter the code, and then the webinar series will be naturally ascribed to it, and you'll receive the recordings in the recordings area called webinars. So go to the products page and use your webinar discount code to get the webinar series. Christine, hello to you. I'm using your Gupta program for CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm having some insomnia where my sleep rhythm is thrown off. I'm sleeping from 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning till about 10 or 11 in the morning. Do you think I should force myself to get up early in the morning to reset my system, or just sleep in for as long as I can? Right, I would encourage you, if you have chronic fatigue syndrome, to sleep in for as long as you can, because you need that sleep. And at the same time, gently try and shift it earlier. So each day, can you go to bed half an hour earlier and get up half an hour earlier, and see if you can gradually shift the sleep cycle to earlier. And when you get up in the morning, straight away you get exposed to bright light, and see if that can help you. Is this condition hereditary? I believe that there may be a slight hereditary effect, but the studies have shown that it's not a strong effect. Okay? So it is not our destiny to get this condition. Okay, so just Rumby saying, I would like to try this. My situation is unique. I'm not sure if it's chronic fatigue syndrome. I've had fatigue all my life, and I lose focus easily, and I'm always tired. I can't sleep well, and a whole lot of other stuff. Could this program help? Yes, as I said, if you have moderate to severe fatigue where it's impacting on your ability to live life day to day, and you're saying you lose focus, you've got that exhaustion in the system, then yes, I believe that using the Gupta program can help you. Jian saying, I have several conditions such as fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, and I've just had a brain tumor removed from my hypothalamus gland. I practice yoga, deep breathing exercises, and meditation daily. I'm also training to be a yoga master. I also follow, just give me 1 second, I just can't read it here. I also follow an organic diet program because I have IBS. I have tried the app called Calm on my iPhone. It sounds like you're doing some good stuff there. What I would say, Jian, is that our program is very different to traditional yoga and meditation. So although we encourage people to meditate and do yoga or stretches as part of the Gupta program, the core of the Gupta program is retraining the brain. Right? Because as you've probably found, you may be doing those things, but it hasn't quite healed you fully. So the Gupta program's benefit is learning and understanding what causes this condition and how you can retrain your brain to recover. Francis, hello to you. Insomnia is a common issue with ME/CFS, yet despite using 100 different techniques, I still can't get a good night's sleep. Can you say something about it? Also, what is your take on emotional upset creating pain in the body? Well, I would say that unconscious emotional upset and unresolved emotions can also contribute to a lack of good sleep and a lack of deep sleep. So if we found that we've used so many different techniques to have a good night's sleep, it's because at some level, our nervous system hasn't achieved the state of rest in the evening that enables us to have the hormonal changes to get a good night's sleep. And therefore, I always, people, it's like a broken record, I always say longer and deeper meditations is the secret to having a good night's sleep. Because all of those emotions that your brain wants to resolve at night, they get resolved during the meditation, and there's a release of emotional buildup. So I would encourage you to just try for a period of time, many meditations during the day, longer and deeper meditations, and obviously using all other aspects of exercise, physical activity, etc., and seeing how you can gradually get a better night's sleep. Maggie saying, I'm in Perth in Western Australia. Hi to you, Maggie. Must be very early there. And I suffer from CFS and fibromyalgia. The last 10 days, I've suffered insomnia, falling asleep early by 10, but waking at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. How can I sleep until the morning? Yeah, some very good questions there. So once again, once the system is overstimulated, we may be okay in falling asleep, but then we may wake up regularly during the night. And the reason is that the first few sleep cycles are deep. But once we go past those first few sleep cycles, the remaining 1 or 2 sleep cycles aren't as deep, and it requires the mind to be more calm and still before it allows us to go into sleep. So we can wake up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and suddenly our mind is a bunch of worries. I think we've all experienced that. So yes, in the Gupta program, we go through a lot of detail about the changes that you can make in terms of your diet, your activity levels, when to meditate, tips on sleep, that all help us have that deeper sleep. So all of that information is in the Gupta program on how to get deeper sleep when you have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Becca says, when you talk about sleep, are you talking total hours or restful sleep? I use an Apple Watch to monitor my sleep. Well, generally, most people fall asleep in about 15 minutes, and then they wake up refreshed after 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Now, obviously, if you are experiencing chronic fatigue or anxiety, those hours of sleep may not be as deep, and that's where you might need to substitute your sleep with 2 meditations during the day. So if we're experiencing a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, we need 2 meditations a day to really supplement the sleep that we have at night. So for those of us who have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, we may need longer than 7.5 hours. 7.5 hours is for people who've got day-to-day fatigue. But if you have the condition, I would encourage you to have at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep, or sleep for as long as you feel you can. Okay, good. Well, please do share any more further questions that you have in the comments board there. Just having a look through again to see if there's any that I've missed. Okay, I think we've answered most of them, so just seeing if there's any final questions. Okay, looks like those are our last bit. So, you know, really, I just want to encourage you to realize that having good energy in your body and not living in this state of fatigue is your birthright. It's your birthright to have a happy, positive, energized body. And it's about finding the right key to the right lock, to understanding and unlocking that health that is there. You know, each of your cells is only 6 months old. You are born anew every 6 months, apart from the neurons in your brain. Your neurons remain the same. But even your neurons are what we call neuroplastic. So they can rewire and you can become a new person just through the rewiring of your brain. So you are a new person each 6 months. The challenge is that the nervous system gets stuck in a particular way of being, which then drains the energy. It drains it through worry, fear, anxiety, sadness, in terms of the emotional side. Our energy gets drained through our lifestyle. So looking too much at a screen, about diet, exercise, all of the things that I mentioned. So hopefully, if you've got day-to-day fatigue, there are day-to-day changes you can make in your lifestyle to start improving that and going through a regular program of meditation. And if you have severe fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome, any fibromyalgia, then please use our Gupta program. Comes with a money-back guarantee. You've got nothing to lose by giving it a go, and that can help support you in your recovery to get the energy and the health that you deserve. You really do deserve it. And it's about staying committed on this path, because when you notice that you're not living the life that you want, you haven't got the energy that you want, it can be so easy to give in and think, oh, there's nothing that I can do. But there are tools, there are techniques, there are ways of being. And it's when you commit to a new way of being, a new lifestyle, a new you, that you can have that health and energy return. You can feel happier and lighter, and it's well worth the effort. So I hope you really will commit to making these changes. So thank you so much to all of you for watching. Once again, our 2 websites. So if you want to just use the app, meditation app, you can go to themeaningoflife.tv and find all the information there. And if you'd like to join our free trial for the Gupta program, or even buy the Gupta program, it's at guptaprogram.com. And all the information is there in the comment section, where you can get a 15% discount if you use the code 15live or 15live USB. Thank you so much for watching. It's been wonderful to be with all of you today, and I'll see you next time on our Facebook Lives. Thank you and goodbye.